For joining us, y'all. I have so much. I'm going to pick this lady's brain tonight.
Oh my
I cannot
God.
believe she is with us. Like, I am really psyched, y'all. I am too excited.
Well, I am honored to be here.
I'm honored you said yes. So thank you. We got to
Hmm.
give you your flowers.
Thank
We're
you.
already in the comments talking about we need more of the Morelands. Come on into the room. I'm gonna do my disclaimer with you tonight, Miss Brenda.
Okay.
Pronouncing names and words sometimes can be a little challenging for me. I'm a New Orleans girl, and that Southern twang just takes over.
You doing well. You doing great. You in near Catalina Cove, huh?
I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay. All right. Well, I
Yes.
wrote a series of books not far from New Orleans. A series that is called Catalina Cove. I
Okay.
created a town that's supposed to be 50 miles from New Orleans. And I
Okay.
got 8 books in that series. And it's one of my, I guess, with my readers, besides the Madeiras and the Westmorelands, it's the third favorite series.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm definitely gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to check it out. Hello, Jocelyn. Oh, Allegra has joined us. One of my partners, Allegra, has joined us tonight, and
Mhm.
she's not feeling well. So shout out to her. I hope she feels better.
Hope
Thank
you
you for
feel
joining us.
better.
And shout out to Sean Chadwick. She told me to give you a shout out. She recommended the Player's Handbook, which we're going to talk about.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
She's like,
Okay.
you are her hero. Shout out to my other partner, Tara. We miss you, Allegra. And
Hello.
Tara's not with us. Welcome into the room, everybody. It is now 7 o'clock. I am going to get us rolling. Um, I want to make sure I thank you guys for joining us tonight. I am so honored to have this legend with us, to have this iconic moment, an individual with us to celebrate and honor her legacy, these milestones that she's achieved and accomplished. And we're going to start out with really simple and basic things. You're going to find that this will flow like a real girlfriend conversation.
Okay. That sounds good.
So first of all, New York sellers, bestsellers, U.S. Today. You have been honored with so many achievements in your career. Tell us, how does this feel and still be one of those top authors that's a one click for so many and all of your work to still be relevant? How does that feel to you today?
It feels good. And I appreciate you, your group, the readers who are joining us. Because when I started on this journey to become an author, I was in corporate America and I was okay. I loved corporate America, but I traveled a lot. And I'm not an adventurer who, once I get to a new unknown city, will go out and do shopping. I would get into my hotel room after the meetings and stay there, watch television, eat. And so I said, it got to be something else I could do. And I did dabble in writing while I was in high school. So one of my friends said, Brenda, won't you just start a story? And during that time, it was notebook paper or the little composition tablet. And I would just jot down ideas. And the next thing I knew, I was writing stories. So to see it evolve to what it is now, it was never that intent. I think it's a blessing. And I had one of my coworkers once tell me, You ever think that maybe this isn't your job? That God gave you such a wonderful talent and He equipped you with a romantic life. You know, you and your husband start dating when you were 14, he was 16. Y'all been dating over 40 some years. That a
Wow.
lot of people don't think that that type of love exists. And
Yes.
you could share that with your stories. And I listened to her and I say, you know what? That's what I think I'm going to do. So I started writing stories and I based it on family because I got a big family. So I wrote the Madeiras, then it was the Westmorelands, and then it was the Montgomerys with the Player's Handbook and all of those. And now, like they're your family, they have become my family. And I put in them what I know, which is the romance, the passion, the love, the devotion. I put all that in there. And just to know that people like the stories I write for that reason. Sometimes it may have drama, sometimes it doesn't. But in the end, true love prevails. So.
That's powerful. It's powerful that you're telling us, you're sharing with us, because we often wonder how many authors are truly writing the love story, the romance from their own personal experiences, right?
Mhm.
Because some of us are literally reading things, and it's like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Was this about showing real black love can exist? This is real. Was it, or was it about it doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, you as an individual can have this? What was your aim, your goal?
It was at first Black Love because I had a lot of just, I was mentoring a lot of young women in my church and my family. And they were saying there's not any good men out there. I'm like, where are y'all looking? You know, yes, they are, you know, and I just wanted them to know the meaning of black love because I had black love and I wanted them to know black love does exist. So I started writing for them. And then I decided, you know, love is colorblind. You know, you
Mm.
love who you love, and you may not, whether or not the person got $1 million or is a blue collar worker, love is love, and you make it work. I was in corporate America. My husband worked in a warehouse. He was a supervisor in a production warehouse. But our love was so solid, it was not about money, who made this, who made that. It's we're a team. We're going to always be a team. What's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. And I wanted to put that in my books. I want to do that.
And I'm sure that's exactly what we got from it. That is wholeheartedly the core of a lot of things that you wrote. With
Mhm.
you spoke on evolution. You spoke on the fact that, hey, I've lived life, I've experienced some things. Would you say that those things that you wrote throughout the years, throughout your career, your journey, do you believe that they're still today the same in terms of what we face, right? Some of the challenges we face. Our romance genre has changed drastically. It's no
Mhm.
longer just simply love. There's a little trauma, there's a little understanding to the drama. The love story is a little different now. So,
Mhm.
how would you say it compares with where we are today and what you've been experiencing?
Oh gosh. I think that the drama you write may be different because you have different challenges now. You know, I think couples are faced with outside forces that you have to be stronger. Your love have to survive so much. But in order for that love to survive, you got to go back to the basic. You got to go back to where the man thinks, that's my woman. She's my queen. There's nothing I won't do for her. That to me hasn't changed. The challenges may change, the situations they may be put in may change, but the love, the steadfast love.
Mm,
If you, when you said those vows, you didn't say them for the next 5 years. You didn't
mm-hmm.
say them like there's
They don't
something that can
expire.
expire and you can renew it if you want and don't renew it. You said them forever. It doesn't mean that as long as you look good, baby, I got you. No. Because
Mm,
one day years come and you're going to get older. You're going to not look the same. You're going to have health issues. You're going to have life crisis.
okay.
But those are the things that should have grown together.
Mm-hmm.
And when those bad times hit, those challenges hit, hey, we got this. We're in this together. And
Mm,
with me, a love story is different from a romance story. A love story doesn't have to have a happy ending. It's just a love story. Romeo and Juliet, the love story with Alan McGraw and Ryan O'Neal, and she dies in the end. Those, in fact, the name of that movie was called The Love Story. But a romance story, the ones from, oh, there's a happy ending. And how you get there from A to Z, it
mm,
shows their struggles. It shows what almost tears them apart. Then it shows what keeps them together. And what keeps them together is the love. And in the end, I always like to end my books with the belief that they lived happily ever after.
I'm glad you said that. We have some authors said, hey, it ain't gotta be that. It might just be happy right now. Some of these comments I'm going for, don't change the formula. I still love the traditional. Me too. I love the formula. I love to live through Brenda's stories. And I'm so happy to hear that because one of my questions that I had, and let me tell y'all, I have been heavy into the Player's Handbook. I have to say, have you read any of your work currently that you wrote years ago and realized I don't feel that way anymore? My perspective has changed on that point.
Um, I guess because I've written so many, I'm up to 155 novels now. And it
Sad.
depends on what the perspective is, because I still believe in true love. I know two people are different, and you say the Player's Handbook,
Oh yeah,
Lance Montgomery.
that
I
lands Dr. James
that
Moon.
Lance, and Lance is still Lance. I wrote, he's included in my Thanksgiving book. His family is part of my Thanksgiving book. And Lance is still Lance. I mean, when I say still Lance, he's loved, he and fell in love with Asia, but he still have a certain mentality that it was okay what I did to get my girl back, whatever. But to answer your question, do I feel that things have changed so much where my books is no longer relevant to
No,
what
no,
is
no.
happening?
More like your perspective has changed on what you wrote then. Like, do you have a different point of view?
No.
And let
I
me tell you
really
why I
don't
say
think
that.
so.
Let me
I
tell you
really,
why I say that. Who
uh-huh.
I am today is not who I was when I was 20, when I was even 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are some, I've learned more, I've experienced more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there
Right.
are views that I used to have, and it's like, hmm, you know, maybe that's why I asked that question, because that was kind
Oh,
of
okay.
my thing. Like, have
Mm-hmm.
you ever read your book and be like, I wrote this? But if I was talking to myself now, back then, I'd have said, hey, change that up a little bit. Just wondering.
And I'm gonna still say no because even though I've grown and I've grown through love. And so now I can look back because Mr. Jackson is no longer with me. So I can look back on what I wrote and say, when I wrote it, that's how it was. And if I had to rewrite it now, I would probably see it from an older Brenda Jackson. But some of the things that I write about, which is love,
Mm-hmm.
and I always tell people I don't tolerate a lot of stuff that I might have tolerated or saw with men because I have a focus group of women and I get
Mm-hmm.
feedback from them, and I know women are not as tolerant. And if you read some of my older books, you knew that all my girls started out as virgins because that's how it was during that time. That's how it was for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so as I got older, my perspective on that changed. So I do not have uh all virgins in my book. I very seldom have a woman write about a woman that's a virgin. Once in a while I do. I did this year, but it's not as relevant because most people have had sexual experiences by the time they meet Mr. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
my perspective on that has changed. But I don't have it where she slept around, she's had, how many guys I think, but they were in what she thought at the time a serious relationship. But then I
Mm-hmm.
had women that had like some of my Madeiras women, um, Sam and Blade, he had a type of naughty boy thing, and she was the naughty girl. So he met his match with her. So I recognize that things that type has evolved with me.
Yes, yes. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you for sharing that with us. Let me make sure you get your flowers. The readers are out here talking about you've been a true leader in the love arena. Stay ever romantic for your readers tonight and forever still hits today. You have flowers. We have a new author in here, a 1975 author. Wow, I'm only on my first. You're at 155. Author Jocelyn saying, wow, that's amazing. 155. What an achievement.
Thank
What
you.
an achievement.
Thank you.
And your series, several of them have gone to film.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've had an amazing career, writing career. I mean, did you ever think that you were writing to end up on film? Was that ever your goal when you started writing?
No, it was never my goal. It was my goal to entertain women with love stories that had entertained me, and to leave out there and say, wow, that was a nice love story. And, it just made you feel good inside. I never thought it would go to film. That was not even um, my thought that it would go to film. Trying to get as a black writer, just trying to get it published was a challenge back in the 90s. You don't think about film. You think
Yeah.
about trying to, because no major publisher wanted to touch a black author. And so
Hmm.
we had that challenge. I'm talking about before Amazon, where you only could rely on publishers. And it was
Hmm.
only maybe six major publishers. And during that time, there was something where you was restricted from having multiple submissions, which
Hmm.
means if I sent it to Harlequin, I had to wait until Harlequin say we're not interested before I
Right.
could send it to another house, to another
Right.
publisher. And sometime that same book, 2 years later, you're trying to make the rounds to all the publishers. So just getting a book published to me was an accomplishment. The movie part was icing on the cake because that was
Icing on
not in the plan.
And hats off to you for doing that. You have basically torn down barriers. You're a trailblazer for this
Thank you.
Black literary community. And we're
Thank you.
so grateful because had you not had the courage to start somewhere and say, hey, this is possible, it is very much so a reality to have Black love right there in front of you to know that it's like you said, it's an accomplishment to
Right.
be able to feel it, to know it. But what's important to me, because I was never one that really connected with romance until I got a little older, I guess, to really kind of understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But you hit on so many great points, especially when you spoke about back then versions
Yes.
were what, did you ever feel like because of you being a Black author, you had constraints of how you presented things, where your counterparts of the other races didn't have those challenges, but they had to write within these guidelines just for your stuff to be considered for publishing?
When I started writing, the publishers had guidelines for everybody. They didn't have guidelines for blacks or whites. That was their guidelines, that the
Mhm.
girls were virgins. There was a guideline at one time before I came that your name was not your own. That if you wrote as a pen name, the publisher, when you left that publisher, you couldn't use that same name somewhere else. There were a lot of guidelines that all of us had to abide by, or all authors had to abide by. I think when we came on the scene, we was like a test market. First of all, they didn't think black women would read our books, and they told me that why should we change when something not broken? Why should we try to fix it? Black women are satisfied with reading a book with a blonde haired, blue eyed guy on the cover because that's all we had. We didn't have a choice of but a blonde haired, blue eyed guy on the cover. So, my
Mm,
question was, have you ever thought of testing the market to
mm,
see? They didn't want to rattle the boat. With my first book, Tonight and Forever, uh, I was offered a contract by this white publisher, a major
mm,
white publisher, that we love your writing style, we love the story. If you make your characters white, we would buy it because that's what the market wanted. And there were a couple of black authors that wrote only white stories because that's what they had to do in order to get a contract. Well, I felt like, nah, I'm in corporate America. I get a paycheck from State Farm every 2 weeks. This is not a have or die situation for me. My
okay.
story is going to be published the way I dreamed it, the way I see it, and my characters are who they are and what they are. And I turned them down. And she told me, she said, you won't be getting published. It wasn't about the money to me, but as a black woman, I wanted to tell the black experience and the black story. So no, again, never thought it would be made to movies. And as far as me having a different criteria than my white authors, now the one thing they did do because they didn't think the stories would tell, our contracts were different, money wise. We knew it and we accepted it. Those of us that signed on and got our books out there, but we figured we would show them. Black women they do read romances. And once they saw, it's all about the money. Once they saw that the books would sell just as well as the white counterparts,
Mm,
that's when other publishers other than Kensington decide to come on and say, we would like you to join our team. We would like you to join our team and write your romances. We would do this. We're going to give you promotion because now we see there's an untapped market out there of black
yes,
women that were hungry to see
that's the word.
themselves on the cover. And sometimes you got to show them better than tell them.
Exactly. And again, one of the readers said it best. Thank you so much, right? Thank you so much for not just standing for the acceptance of, like you said, the money, or just the
Yeah.
opportunity, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
somebody says, I knew better. I knew black men meant black love meant black men. Thank you. I've only bought black books, and you paved the road for black authors like me. They said they love how you show generational black excellence. When I saw black romance novels, I was excited and ready for it, happy and excited,
Mhm.
ready for it. We've appreciated your black stories and love reading them. Thank you for saying no and putting black love first. That is so. That's just the standard, right? Now we have it. We have it, and trust me, we Bourbon Street Bookers, we do not take it for granted. And so many other platforms where we are literally celebrating, honoring, and promoting black, black
Mhm.
romance, black story, black authors. I love Solid Soul too. Those kids were hilarious.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for giving me Thorn. I am so happy to see that your fans are in here joining us.
Yes. Yes.
She keeps my faith in Black love for myself alive.
Yes.
One of the questions that I had ready to pose to you, I know Black romance is your gift, that's your talent. Have you ever desired to write anything from any other genre, whether it be thriller, whether it be anything that you've not done yet? Is there anything you're considering?
You know, when I was writing The Black Love, my husband, I said, "You're not reading my books." He said, "Baby, throw some fights in there, some this in there, some that." So that what got me into action romance. I found out it's more to romance than just romance. You got thriller romance, you got action romance. And that's when I went on the Fire and Desire and I introduced Trevor, Ashton, and Sir Drake, the CIA. Then the CIA agents, the Marines. And I basically wanted to do something different. So this year, because a lot of my older readers who followed my Madeiras is my Westmorelands, they said, my grandkids, they see your books all around, and they said, "Grandmama, can I read that?" And they said, "No, baby, you can't read her." So you know what I said? I'm glad they brought that up because I decided to write a young adult book. And I
Mm,
decided to base it on my very first family, the Madeiras, and
mhm,
a couple in the Madeiras who have kids. And one of their kids, he was a private investigator. She was a journalist reporter.
mhm,
And I said, "Don't you know their kid is going to be just a chip off the old block?" So that's
mhm.
when I decided to invite or to introduce the first Black Nancy Drew. And let me show you her book.
Ooh, beautiful cover.
Yep, it's called The Missing Lion, and it's doing very well because my readers, it was meant for their grandkids and their kids,
Yes.
but they are basically, and you see, I'm writing under Lauren Medeiros because I didn't want the kids to say, "Oh, I could read the Brenda Jackson too." Lauren Medeiros was my very first heroine in Tonight and Forever, and she was the author of children's stories. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write as Lauren Medeiros. And so this book came out in May of this year, and Lauren has her own website. The kids that are part of the Lauren Medeiros team, we send them out gifts every so often. Oh gosh, yes, for Christmas, we give them journals. And what's so nice about this, you read about the parents who are couples that you read about in my books when I wrote the books 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So now you see what they're doing with their parents. Because Lauren got the red hair because her mother had red hair and she inherited the red hair from her mother. And so Lauren Medeiros, it's The Missing Lion Cub. It's in hardback, ebook, and audio. The Missing Lion
You
Cub.
dropping gems tonight.
Huh?
You're dropping gems tonight. I did not know you wrote underneath another pen name. That is
Yep. This is my very
amazing.
first pen name, Lauren Medeiros. And if you go to laurenmedeiros.com, they have online puzzles for the kids to do. They have word games, and every child that sign up with the email address, every quarter they get a newsletter. And what they also get, I pick 10 names every quarter to send out as a gift. And so, yeah. So all her little team are all children of the Medeiros family. Her best friend is Wolf Sinclair. His daddy is Ashton Sinclair, who was one of my action figures in my Medeiros book. And then another best friend is Glenn Kirkland,
Mhm.
and his dad is Glenn Kirkland Chenault, but his dad is Nicholas Chenault. His mom and dad was another couple in one of my books, True Love. So it brings my readers, the adults, up to date on what my books are doing, but then I'm tapping into a whole new market
A
of
whole
young
new
adults.
market. Yes. And listen, that will be promoted in our BSB. We're always looking for books to share with young readers and looking
Okay.
to promote young authors as well. So I am real that's a gem. You just dropped one on me, and I'm always looking for opportunities to promote other books
Thank you.
for
Thank
our
you.
children. So
Yes.
thank you for that. Thank you
Yes.
so much for that. And I'm going to read some of these comments because, oh, they're lighting it up. I'm
Oh,
so
she
happy
say
over
surrender,
there.
one of her favorites. Well, in
Yes.
this book, his triplet son, one of them, Wolf Sinclair, is her protector. So
Hmm.
it's the Black Nancy Drew, but it's a love story in there where they don't even know they're in love, yet. But he gonna find out that she was chosen as his mate when they get older. So, it's a true love story. She's only 14, or she's 15, he's 17. They're
Hmm.
still in high school doing the Nancy Drew mystery sort of thing.
Okay. We got unfinished business.
Yes, that's their daughter, Christy and Alex. Her name is Alexandria Christina. And her name is AC. That's what we call her, AC Maxwell.
Okay. You mentioned audio.
Uh-huh.
Have you come to learn to enjoy audio? And in doing that, because again, that's a relatively new thing to us. But the key thing is hearing our voice, right? Having Black narrators who narrate Black books so they can hit those points. Um, have you enjoyed it? Have you been listening to your books?
That's the only way because I'm always moving around. I can't sit and just read a book. I'm either writing and at night when I get ready to wind down, instead of watching television, I listen to an audio book. And I listen to my audio books because when I'm writing the next one in the series, I need to know what I said, the book from that. So I
Mhm.
have all these books lined up. And right now I have had really great audio narrators, but right now, the one that narrates most of my books, Ron Butler, and he was just awarded one of the top narrators of the year. Ron Butler basically did Baldwin, and so it was the audio. It was chosen the best audio book of 2025. And I'm lucky that Ron is not just a narrator; he's a performer. He did the YA book. He could make his voice become kids. He could speak a woman's part. And you're thinking, is that a woman? But he knows how to fluctuate his voice and accent his voice. He has different languages. I wrote a book, Seeds in Seduction, where the
Mm,
guy had, he was Hispanic, and Ron knew Spanish and the words. So yeah, so he knew how to lapse into Spanish, like when I had it in the book. One of the characters in one of my Westmoreland books, Callum Austell, he was um, from Australia. Ron gave him that Australian accent. So I want more than a narrator. I love
wonderful.
people that can read you the book, but when you get someone that performs it for you,
It makes
there's a
all the difference.
difference.
There certainly
There's
is a
a
difference.
difference.
There is really a difference because I can tell you if I hear singing in your audiobook, there was an author who had a scene where it was mic night and you could hear the echo of the mic. And I thought that was just so amazing. It's like tapping into me experiencing the book, right, in my
Uh-huh.
ears. It actually, narrations or listening to audiobooks helped me to be a better listener in
Yes.
terms of my communication, right? Because so
Right.
often we heard, but we were not really listening, right?
Right.
So that's what audiobooks have done for me. So I am
Yes.
so glad you're experiencing your work like this because it gives so many more people.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had a segment one time where a reader that was blind had mentioned that how grateful they were for this now, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
now they get to experience the same books we do
Right.
without
Right.
having to go through those things with a talent they already have, great listening skills.
Right. Right. Well,
Yes,
right now I'll say 95% of all my books are on audio, and by the end of the year 2026, it'll be 100% on audio.
outstanding.
Because
That
I'm
is so
going back, and any that were not on audio before, they're being added, not only by me with my books that I've published, but
mhm.
also my books that my major publisher, Harlequin, St. Martin's, all of them are out there on audio. So if you want a Brenda Jackson book, you're going to find it in an ebook. It may be hard to find it in print sometime because, like Tonight and Forever, it's been out over 30 years now. And they're
Mhm.
not going to have it in the stores, but you can get it from certain places from Harlequin, special
Mhm.
order. But audiobooks, because just think it's so flexible. I could be driving in my car a long distance. I got that audiobook to keep me company. I could be walking around the block trying to get my steps in. I'm plugged into that
Mhm.
audiobook. I could be cleaning the house, mopping, doing whatever. Long as I got my earplugs in, I'm forgetting what I'm doing. I'm listening. I could, boy. I could
That's the
work
only way I
up
can clean up.
so
It's the
audio,
only way I can clean up.
and a lot of people say I got to have the book in my hand and I got to read it myself. I'm
Mm,
trying to spare my eyes here for the typing.
that
So I
part.
said, okay, I don't want to strain my eye. Doctor already told me you're getting cataracts in your eyes. I want to be able to sit and type as long as I can. So if I can listen to the book versus having to read it, I've trained myself to do that and I enjoy my audiobooks.
I enjoy them too, because I listen, like y'all notice my background is different from what it typically is. I'm home in New Orleans visiting with family right now. So
Hmm.
my road trip is always, it's not music, it's my books. It's
Hmm.
and I tell people, please don't keep calling. I'm gonna call y'all and let y'all know where I am because once I'm into it, it's like I hate to press pause just to go use the bathroom or stop and get gas because it's like no, no, no. I mean, let me listen to this one more page. We have some more comments in here. I want to go ahead and give people some recognitions. Um, Miss LaShera, thank you for joining us. She's in the house tonight. I
Hi,
love audio.
LaShera. That's my girl.
That's my sunshine.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I love reading or listening to audiobooks when I'm traveling. This is the only way I can do chores, y'all. That's how I've been tricking myself. I enjoy
Mm-hmm.
audiobooks too.
In the
So
doctor's office while I'm waiting, I don't spare no time. If they got me, I'm like, I'm good. They say it's going to be a minute. I'm good. I'm listening to my book. I'm good.
can you describe for the readers a pivotal moment that encouraged you to write your challenging books? What are some things that was like a pivotal moment where you was like, I gotta write this?
It's a book that to me, I think every author has a book that they think is probably their very best book. And for me, it was a book because I was compelled to write it for more of an understanding than anything else. I was raised up, I'm 72. I was born in 1953. So I came in through segregation. I remember black water fountains, white water fountains. I know why we have HBCU colleges. I came in my junior and senior year of high school where the Black Panther Party was, they were it, and that was my time. I was during the Vietnam War. I didn't understand why we fought a war, and so many of my classmates were leaving to go to a war to fight. And then they came home either dead or not the
Mhm.
same. I couldn't understand that. So I told my husband, and his just to get me, you interrupting my gun smoke, my wagon train, my all of the. He was a Western. He loved his Western. He would say, "Baby, just write the book. You'll understand it better when you write the book." So I wrote a book called Ties That Bind. To
Mm.
me, it is the best book I have ever written. It took me a good 4 years to write that book. I could write a book in 4 months. I could write a book in 3 months, but I went back in the time. The book started in 1965. So I needed to go back to see what people was eating, what they were wearing, what black people, what was there. Because I lived that time, but now you're talking about I'm in the 2000s. So I had to go back and relive all of that. So I wanted to get real research. So I
Mm.
interviewed veterans from the Vietnam War, white and black. And most of them, in fact, 100% of them felt let down by a nation because they went to war, they fought, and they came back, and the American people treated them as losers because we didn't win the war, even though the president ended whoever the president, I think Nixon
Mhm.
ended the war. But I wanted to know their perspective on what they thought of the war. And then the Black Panther Party. Boy, I wanted to really reach out to Angela Davis and, but all the letters I wrote, I didn't get any response. But I went back and read the memoirs of different Black Panther members, and I discovered that they were a good group of guys in the beginning whose who wanted to do good for their community. They
Mm.
wanted to protect their community from police brutality. They set up programs like Head Start to feed the kids. And it was because of, and I did research on him, J. Edgar Hoover, who was the FBI. So I got all of that information, and it took me a year for the interviews and all of that information. And then I wrote the book. And the book Ties That Bind is based on really six couples that started out together at Howard University in 1965, and what happened to them and how all of them came back together 30 years later to
Mhm.
save one of their classmates who had gotten caught up in the Black Panther that was about
Right.
to get electrocuted, you know. And all the information I gave was factual, but I put it in a love story type format. And I went from decade to decade to decade, and starting with the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and up to the present time. And everyone who has ever read Ties That Bind, say, my God, it's so different from any book you've written. It's a love story, but it is a different love story. And that
Mm.
book was in me, and I figured I could not. I was writing other books while I was still writing this one, but
Mhm.
this one was a goal of mine because it was
Sounds
one
like what
I
they
wrote
call
for me.
historical romance, huh?
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah, that is powerful. Being able to
Ties that
interview
bind. Yeah.
people. Yes, to give you, that's on my CDR now. That is on my CDR. One of the questions that we were asked, and I want to make sure
And it's on audio because you like your audio. Ron
yes, I
Butler
do.
reads
But
it on
I don't
audio.
mind reading too.
Yeah.
I do like my audios. I can get through them quicker, but I love me some good history
And
romance.
it got a lot of drama in it. It
Yeah.
touches on everything that affected Black Americans during that period.
Yes, I am definitely going to get into that. One of the questions that our readers is asking, who are some of your favorite authors, and who are some newer authors you read or listen to now?
Oh gosh, some of my favorite authors. My first one that comes to mind is Beverly Jenkins. That's my sister author. Beverly
Sure.
writes historicals and she does some contemporary modern day. But
Okay.
Beverly book came out the year before mine, and since then, but that meant that I was a reader before I was an author. And I read Beverly book Night Song, which to me is one of the most prolific Western romances there is. I'm way about the Buffalo Soldiers. I got into the Buffalo Soldiers because of Beverly Jenkins. So she is one that I love to, read. I read Delaney Diamond. Whenever I have the time, I read Delaney Diamond. In fact, I don't have a lot of time, but other people that read my books, my church members, say, I'm
Hmm.
reading your books while we're waiting on your book to come out. We
Hmm.
stumble on Delaney Diamond. Have you? I say, no, I never heard of Delaney. I say, but the next time I have a free moment, I'm traveling, I'm going to read one of Delaney's books. And I did. I enjoyed the story. Sharon Cooper. Someone say there's an author that writes similar to yours and she's good. And I say, oh, okay, let me read. She liked to write about family. She likes to write about just everyday things that you like to write about, true romance. I got hooked on a Sharon Cooper. So Sharon Cooper is one that basically I'm into, right now. So those are the ones when I say they're modern day, and Beverly is my historical. I'll say um, Delaney Diamond, Sharon Cooper. Oh gosh, I can't think of her name right now. Is Alexandria Stephanie. I can't think of her name, but when I see it, I'm trying to look at my bookshelf because I
Hmm.
support authors, even though I may not read their books. Whenever I know they have books coming out, I still try to support them because I know the value of support. So, and I try to tell other people when I read a good book, I try to tell other people that, look, you need to read her book. While you waiting on me to come
Mhm.
out, you need to read her book because there are others. I'm not the only romance author out there. You need to read others. And then there's a new author, Casey Mills. I
Of course.
enjoy her stuff.
We
So,
love Casey.
so I have a lot of people that I have in my pile to read, and when I can, I read them. This year has been a struggle because I wrote 6 new books out this year. But yeah, but when I can, like I'm leaving town next week for Thanksgiving break, my
Uh-huh.
book going to my publisher tomorrow. So I'm gonna give myself a week just to enjoy. And those are the authors that I will take with me.
I want to make sure I respect your time, and we are down to the last 11 minutes. So I want to
Oh,
answer some of these questions, or at least
okay.
that they have for you. Lisa actually wrote in here about the film, which we discussed about your books that have gone to film. Is there one in particular that you're excited or wanting to go to film next?
Oh, the one that I want to go to film next. Oh gosh, there's so many of them. I would say because there was a big interest by Hallmark before they changed things up with their platform, the Catalina Cole series. And that's the one I told you that's based on a fictitious town that's outside of New Orleans. It's an
Hmm.
8 book series. So I'm still hoping that someone will pick up the Catalina Cole series. Then you have a person that's interested in that book I told you that I think is my best book I've ever written, Ties That Bind. I had a
Right.
couple of producers inquire about that one. So there are a couple of ones, I got 3 right now on Amazon Prime based on the Granger family.
Okay.
Brother's Honor, A Man's Promise, and A Lover's Vow. And they are based on uh, romantic murder mystery because somebody trying to figure out who killed their mama. So, the books are out there. So, yeah, I'm
I
hoping
can
those
actually
books.
see that love ties in the movies. I can, from what you described, like I can see from the attire with the focus of the setting and the film. One of the questions from an author, a new author, that is saying, what advice would you give to a new author who was just published with their first novel?
Write the book from your heart, not the book you think going to make you a quick sale. Write it from your heart, what you feel. I've had so many authors, so I would write romance, but uh, I heard they don't pay a lot in romance. Who cares if you enjoy what you writing? And if you write a good book, the sales will come. When I write a story, I just want to put out a good story. I don't worry about, boy, if I could make this into a street lit or whatever. You write what is your forte. You write what you're good at. I'm good at romance because I lived it. I feel it in my bones. I just love romance. I love people falling in love, giving them a problem, giving them a dark moment where they have to sort it out. I love that. Put a little action in it. That's my forte. Something else may not be my forte. Somebody else got that covered, and I'm glad. Read
Period.
that person. It's plenty of us out there. We ain't got to fight for the same patch of dirt. And
Right.
even
Be
if
true to
it's just a
yourself.
patch of dirt, we still, we're all in this together. And what God has for me, it is for me. What he has for you, it is for you. You don't have to
Amen.
get mad at me because I'm getting my blessings now, and I'm not sure not going to get mad at you when he give you your blessings. And that's how
Okay.
we have to look at things. I'm
Yes.
not going to be around. I'm 72. I want young authors to come behind me because I want this to continue long after Brenda Jackson gone. I want those stories to continue. And I believe we're going to have authors out there that continue the stories.
Yes. Say that. One of our readers is asking, what's the book that, and I'm kind of tweak this question a little bit, that you would recommend to readers, to someone that's maybe new to your catalog?
Oh gosh. New to my catalog because, like you say, that involving moment. Even though I love my Madeiras, I love those Westmorelands. I think what I point people to is a series, what the one I told you I created the town. I would say the Catalina Cole series because it's not where people are related. The town is the focal point. The town is the character. And the first book in that series is Love and Catalina Cole. Once you get read that one, you're gonna want to read the ones after that to find out about the town, to find out about the couples in the town. Catalina Cove, Love and Catalina Cove. Now that one is really a mystery novel, a mystery romance novel. Yeah, I
Okay.
got a lot of people. I got twists and turns in that one people did not expect. So yeah, Love and Catalina Cove. It's
Mhm.
your entrance to Catalina Cove.
And you said that's based in Louisiana, right?
It's based on Catalina Cove, Louisiana, which doesn't, I have had readers call me, text me, I'm in Louisiana, I'm in New Orleans. How do I get to Catalina Cove? It doesn't exist. I made it up. What? It doesn't exist.
That's when you know you have written it, baby. You have
Yeah,
written
I
it.
have written it. When you got people, I gave you the town history. I given you the important people in the town. And people say there's no way Catalina Cove doesn't really exist. But it really doesn't.
One of the questions is actually pertaining to a scene in your book. If you have time, can you explain the infamous kiss in Delaney's desert sheet?
Well, was on a cruise writing this story. And during that time, I was taking notes, just observing couples on a cruise because the book I was going to write was perfect timing about a couple that was on a cruise. And a couple asked me from the Greek Isles, asked me who I was, what I was doing. They thought I was a reporter. I say, no, I'm writing this story. And they say, well, everybody talk about the French kiss. But do you know about Arius? I say, no. What is that? They say, that's the kiss from the Greek owl. And when we get home, they got my name and my address. We're going to send you information about that kiss. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, when they sent me information, it was in Greek. So I had to go to my friendly Greek sandwich store to say, could you translate this for me? And the guy, he looked at it and he said, I better let my wife do it. I'm like, ooh, what's in this? So his wife said, could you come after work when the shop closes? I went after work and she set me down and she read and she was turning all kind of color. I'm looking, listening to her like, woo, I got to find a book to put that in. And so that kiss is the kiss based on what I was told based in my research as the kiss that is so passionate that
Mm.
when you get kissed, you pass out from a
Ooh.
kiss. And when I wrote that in the book, because the sheik kissed Delaney, and women was going to their husband, we want to pass out. And then men were writing me, telling me, you need to stop it. This is unrealistic expectations our wives are putting on us to get kissed this way.
Mm,
So yeah,
that was see,
that's the
yes,
famous kiss.
you
Yeah.
have given it to us tonight. Once again, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We give you your flowers. Thank you, and again, thank you for accepting my request to join us tonight. Is there anything you want your readers to know tonight? Where, if there are any future events that you have coming up, anything that you need their support with? I know
Oh gosh.
you have a pre-order coming up in the recent release.
Yes, I have. This is my 150th book, Spilling the Tea. It's based on a Madeiras family. Now, this is my Christmas book. It comes out on Tuesday. It's called Christmas with the Steels. And then this here is a Thanksgiving book. First ever, my Thanksgiving book. And it has your Lance in here. It's about Lance family. So you have that. And this book I'm proud of. This is my son on the cover, by the way.
Oh, look at
Yep, that's
that.
my son. And this is called Masters of the Game Colton. In March, you get Masters of the Game Cobra. They are triplets. You already got the first triplet story. So these are the last of the two triplets. So
Mhm.
please support any of those books. I have more books coming out next year. My schedule is going to be wow. And I just hope everyone support me.
It would be our pleasure. It truly would be. But we already have the question, is it on audio? Are you releasing with audio at the same time with these
All of
books as
these
well?
books I showed you are on audio.
There you go.
This one
It's on
here isn't
audio.
out yet. It comes out in next Tuesday. It'll be on audio. The audio should be released by the 15th of December.
Uh-huh. So your audios are out. We have some releases out. And what about events? Where can they find you?
Well, if they live in I'm gonna be in at the DeKalb Library in December 6th, and then I'm gonna be in Vegas in March. I'm gonna be in Chicago in April. I'm gonna be in Atlanta in May. I think for
Okay.
the next, I have somewhere to go or somewhere to be for the first 10 months of 2026. They could go to my website, www or brendajackson.com, and it'll
Okay.
tell them all. And you know about my cruises. Every odd year, me and my readers go on a cruise together somewhere. 300 of my readers. And this year we
Oh,
went to Mexico for 7 days. We have activities. Sometimes we used to bring cover models with us, but that got kind of wild. So, but
I can
we
only
have
imagine.
fun. Yes, we have activities. We have fun together.
I am so happy to see spilling that hot tea. Spilling that tea is still, it's glowing and vibing and thriving today, having
Mhm.
that paperback. Um,
Yes.
your books are available in all retail.
In all retail, they're available. The ones that I publish under my own company, you could get them uh, Barnes and Noble through Ingram. The libraries can get them. Any retailer could order them in bulk from Ingram. Um, and they are in ebook, they're in print book. I have an online store. If you go to my website, if you want one of my old books like Tonight and Forever or Whispered Promise or Thorn book that you
Mhm.
can't find in the store and it's a brand new copy, no use, I autograph it and I send it out to you.
That's it.
I have all 150 of my books, 55 of my books in the store. and their
That's
autograph. Hmm.
I love that you're telling us that they're autographed because that was gonna be my next question. Some of
Yes,
our readers out here, I know I'm one. I don't want just book. I want autographed book.
right. And I will
I want
autograph
autographed
them for
copies.
you and get it to you.
It's awesome. Again, Miss Brenda, thank you so much and for everything, for trailing the way, for opening doors, for saying no when you did and remaining consistent. 150 plus releases, and you're still giving us all that black love. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
very much.
Thank you. And I just want to say to all the new authors out there, all the authors out there, you are wonderful. Don't let anyone tell you when you write Black Love, you are continuing greatness. And I appreciate you for it.
Yes, yes.
And you
Thank
be
you.
you, boo. You don't have to write like me. You tell
Okay.
your story the way you want to tell it. And there's somebody out there that you think won't read it, will be reading because they've been waiting for it.
Yes, yes. That is some great advice. Authenticity is so important.
Hmm.
So important. Thank you, and thank you to all of those who came out tonight. We had at least 30 people in here at a time, and they've been waiting for you. And
Oh,
Monique, I saw that you joined us. See, I told you you hadn't missed it yet. Shout out to all of those authors in the house coming to see this legend. Thank you, and shout out to LaShira, my sunshine. Thank you for connecting us. I appreciate you. Y'all have a great night, and again, thank you, Miss Jackson.
thank you. And call on me anytime.
Certainly shall.
All right.